Hare Krishna. In this video we will see how Krishna lived with 16,108 wives. We are going to see his family life with 16,108 wives, and this is from Srimad Bhagavata Purana, 10th canto, 69th chapter. Same like us, even Narad Muni wants to see how Krishna managed his family life with 16,108 wives. And then he visited Dwaraka to see this. Before we go to the story, I want you all to know that whoever is claiming themselves as Krishna, or whoever is taking Krishna as an example to marry more than one woman, they should definitely see this video till the end, because there are so many fake gurus in India and there are so many self-proclaimed godmen claiming themselves as Krishna and cheating women. We are seeing in this in our daily news. So let's go to the story. Narada also wondered how Krishna could manage with this many ladies and decided to visit Dwaraka. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 69. It has a set of shlokas where Narada's experience of what he saw in the palace is mentioned. So, first he entered Dwaraka and he was surprised to see 16,108 palaces. Each and every queen was having their own palace, and each and everyone lived with their own Krishna. Krishna expanded himself into 16,108 forms, and no queen was having any single complaint against Krishna. So, is it possible for these fake gurus to expand themselves into that many forms like Krishna? Not possible. Then they should stop claiming themselves as Krishna and cheat girls. Okay, now let's go to the story. And the palace was so rich that it is studded with Navaratnas, with precious, very costly gemstones. And even the roads were so rich. Everything is so opulent. If I talk about that opulence, this video alone will take half an hour. So now let's go to see how Krishna lived with his family life. Because how the palace is so beautiful is also described in the same 69th chapter only. Okay, first Narada is visiting the first palace. Okay, and what he saw was, he saw Krishna's wife fanning him. Even though Krishna has appointed so many maid servants to help his wife decided to serve him personally. So she is fanning him and Krishna is just enjoying and talking with her. This is what Narada saw. And then immediately after seeing Narada, Krishna stood up and then he invited him and he offered his own seat to him, and then he washed his holy feet. You may wonder, Krishna is Paramatma and sage Narada is just a Muni. So why Krishna has to give respect? This is just to teach us a lesson that if the person is so saintly in nature, then we need to give respect. So Narada went to another palace. There Narada saw Krishna playing dice with his wife and friend Uddhava. And after seeing Narada, Krishna stood up and offered him a seat as usual and asked him, "When did you arrive?" As if Krishna don't know anything. He is Paramatma, he knows everything, but he just asked, "When did you arrive? What can I do for you? What is the reason for your visit?" And Narada was wondering. We just visited to his first palace, and there also he was there, and there he gave me all respects, and how he is asking me as if he don't know anything. Like this, Narada wondered and went to another palace. There, Krishna was petting his children. He was taking care of his children. Then Narada went to another palace. There, Krishna was preparing to take his bath. Then he went to another palace where Krishna was doing homam or havan. There he was doing Panchamaha Yajna, which is very important for a family man. Whoever is married must do this Panchamaha Yajna. Yajna means it's just not only fire sacrifice. Offering food to crows or any birds is also one type of yajna. So that type of yajnas I have already uploaded it in my channel. I will share it in the description. I will also share the link at the end of this video. Please do visit this, because if Krishna has done something, it means that he wants us to follow. So he is an example for how a family man should be. Next, sage Narada is visiting another palace. There he saw Krishna doing his Sandhya Vandanam. It is a ritual, and he was chanting Gayatri Mantra. After seeing this, Narada is visiting another palace where Krishna was doing sword practice. This Narada has seen in the same day. Simultaneously, he was seeing all this simultaneously in the same day. Next, Narada is visiting another palace where Krishna was doing horse riding and elephant riding, and he was riding on chariots, etc. And then Narada is visiting another palace where Krishna was resting on his bed, listening to his glories. In those days, there used to be a poet in the palace who sing the glories of the king. And Krishna is king of Dwaraka, so he was singing his glories, and Krishna was just listening to the glories and enjoying. And Naradji went to another palace where Krishna was consulting with his ministers like Uddhava. We all know Uddhava is great friend of Krishna, and he used to consult with him. And the discussion between Krishna and Uddhava came out as Uddhava Gita. Like Bhagavad Gita, Uddhava Gita, there are many types of Gita, even Shiva Gita is there. Okay, and now Narada is visiting another palace where he saw Krishna is just enjoying in the water. And Narada is visiting another palace where Krishna was doing charity. He was doing many types of charity, and he was donating cows to Brahmanas. Then Narada is visiting another palace where he saw Krishna was listening to Puranas. Like how you are listening to Srimad Bhagavata Purana now, like that Krishna was also listening to Puranas. In those days, it is very common for everyone to listen to Puranas because they believed in that. Nowadays, nobody is doing that because nobody is believing. Next, Narada is visiting to another palace as usual, and he found Krishna was just engaged in ritualistic functions with his wife, like this Graha Pravesham and this Navagraha Homam, like Havan, Navagraha Havan, or these ritualistic functions Krishna was doing. Then Narada is visiting another palace where Krishna is so busy in discussing about the economic development of the country. And in another palace, Krishna was just living his family life casually, in normally like how we live. Narada is visiting another palace where he saw Krishna is sitting alone meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is just meditating on himself somewhere. That is what Narada saw. And in next palace he saw Krishna was doing seva to his elders. He was doing service to his elders, and he was offering whatever is required, like water or food, whatever is required for the elders. He was doing that, and he was treating the elders properly. So he is teaching us that we should also treat our elders properly. And Naradji was so astonished to see all this in the same day. All these are happening simultaneously in the same day. Next, Naradji is visiting another palace where Krishna was planning battles in consultation with some of his advisors. And in another palace, he was making peace. Narada was wondering, in one palace Krishna was having consultation about battles, about war, and in another palace he was making peace, because there are so many Krishnas, not just one Krishna. One Krishna expanded himself into so many forms. Next, in next palace, Krishna was busy in getting his sons and daughters married to suitable brides and bridegrooms at the appropriate time, at the right muhurta. And in the next palace, Krishna was found enjoying the company of a wife by exchanging joking words with her. And in the next palace, Krishna did arrangements to send away his daughters and sons-in-law. So, Naradji is like wondering the mystic power of Krishna. And in the next palace, Naradji saw Krishna was doing different types of fire sacrifices, and in another palace he was doing his religious obligations by doing public welfare work, like constructing the wells and public parks, whatever philanthropic activities were there, all that Krishna was doing. And in another place, he saw Krishna is on a hunting expedition. He mounted on his horse, and he was accompanied by the great Yadus, and he was killing animals which were meant for offering in sacrifice. And somewhere Krishna, the Lord of mystic power, was moving about in disguise among the homes of ministers and other citizens in order to understand what each of them was thinking. That is, in those days, kings used to visit the town in disguise to check the pulse of the people, what people are doing, what they are thinking about him, are they happy, are they not happy. So to check the pulse of the citizens, Krishna went in disguise. So by seeing all this in the same day simultaneously, Naradji was so astonished, and then he sung the glories of the Lord and then went back to do his own work. So this is how Krishna managed to live with his so many wives. So we cannot copy Krishna, and the ignorant people who don't know who is Krishna and his powers will get cheated by this fake gurus. And the story is not yet over. Krishna was having 1,61,080 sons. That is, each and every wife was having 10 sons. This is in 61st chapter of 10th canto. So, we should stop blaming Krishna about his character, as you cannot copy him. So, we should not judge the character of Krishna. There are so many things. If we keep talking, the video will go for more than 3 hours. And each and every gopi in Gokulam, Krishna was dancing with his gopis, right? So each and every gopi was thinking that she is only dancing with Krishna, and other gopis were dancing alone. But each and every gopi was actually dancing with Krishna. Every gopi is thinking she is only dancing with Krishna. So that's the power of Paramatma. So we should not compare. So we'll stop the video here. Please subscribe and share this video. If you are a Krishna devotee, sharing is more important, because I want this video to reach fake gurus. Hare Krishna.